Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive exploration. Today we're tackling Beast Castle, obviously a world based on Beauty and the Beast. It's got 13 rooms and is widely regarded one of the better Disney worlds in Cage 2, so let's have a look around and see what we can find. Alright, we'll start here in the parlor as it is the first place you go to. It's a fairly detailed room, there's actually a few things on the walls and we've got the fireplace here looking quite nice. There is just something about a cozy fireplace, isn't there? Although I wish there was a crackle effect, I can't really hear any, unlike the one in the accessory shop in Cage 1. We can also see some plaques on the fireplace, and over here is a bust of someone. There's quite a lot of these in this castle, and of course they're all looking very serious. Now over here on top of this is a globe. It's very vague, it's not very detailed, but there's another globe for you. It's always nice to find globes in Kingdom Hearts. As we can see, we've got more carvings of people here. And there's a lot of NPCs in this room. Beast servants are here, we can talk to them. Lumiere for some reason has an extremely long text box here where they've tried to fit all of this into one box. That's quite funny. And then we have probably the most interesting thing, not only in this room, but in Beast Castle, the paintings. I think most or maybe all of these paintings are actually shots from the movie. There's a lot of stuff from the woods and Beast's courtyard here. That's a really cool little detail, very nice Easter egg. Similar to the Twilight Town paintings, I guess, but this is more based on the Disney world itself and more self-contained. I've put a link in the description which talks about these paintings and shows some of the comparisons between the shots from the film, so if you want to look at that, feel free to click that link. Well, this is what, the third time they've done this now? First in Cage 1 in the hotel, and then in Twilight Town with the Cage 1 areas and paintings, and now this. I'm telling you, they have a thing for paintings. It's like that guy from the hotel with his paintings are great. He or she, I guess, is just really obsessed and they're just going around putting all these references in. It's just like, oh, Kingdom Hearts and paintings. It's a tale as old as time. Anyway, let's move on to the entrance hall now. We can actually look back into the room and see a crude version of the parlor behind us, so at least they went to the effort of doing that. And yeah, in the entrance hall we have some statues like these ones here. Of course, some of them are the ones that can pop out and attack you if a possessor has possessed them. But not all of them do that. See, this one here is a gargoyle with an axe and he just stays still. But it really is all very bestial. There's a lot of quite demonic looking things on the wall in some cases. Also, being an indoors location, there are some nice lighting effects to point out. The first of these is there's light coming through the window and you see the crisscross pattern on the window be replicated on the floor. That's really cool, I like that. Up there you can see where Zaldin stands at part of the game. And it's just little designs etched into the walls, little curves and flowers and another bestial head there. I do wish maybe we could go into the other rooms that the doors would lead to, but unfortunately we can't. Alright, let's move out into the courtyard now. You can hear just about some crickets as it is nighttime. On the floor we have this design, more beasts as you can see, and some fleur-de-lis stuff. After all, miss, this is France. And yeah, I do quite like this outside area, though it is laced with a little bit of creepiness, owing mostly to those dead trees that are on either side of the door. But I do wish there was a bit more, because it would have been nice to go out into Beast Gardens and stuff, and instead all we get is the courtyard and the bridge. A little bit of a shame. But we can look at the castle itself from out here, and it really does look quite grand and impressive. I do like it. The colours are very nice, and the purple pops quite well. And I think it being set at night does work to its favour as well. We can also look, and we see the bridge out there. And there's a big old drop where the bridge is going over. Of course, that's why you need a bridge. And we can see the doors being smashed open at some point. And here's the infamous location for the Zaldin fight where many people wore the face of despair. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that in Melody of Memory, I watched someone play it. You go sort of over this area and you can see a lot of the forest and it just sort of shows how much they made there. And yeah, I think they did well with the perspective. That forest looks quite far away there, even though it's not actually. There's definitely a spooky vibe when you look out through the gates. Yeah, it's quite cool. Oh, and a fun little heart design on the sides of the gate there you can see. Alright, let's head into the more modest east wing here. This is Belle's side of the castle and isn't so big, of course. We can look down through the window into the courtyard. It's quite nice to get that perspective and show just about where we are in relation to where we were. That's always nice. And in the east wing we have yet more paintings again. You can click the link if you want to see some comparisons here, but they are very cool to look at and just go, oh yeah, that's from the film. Yeah, that's cool. We also have this very squished looking dude holding up this pot. He doesn't look too happy. And for that matter, neither does the one in the pillar here. Oh, hey look, there's another unique carving here. This time it's holding a sword. In Belle's room we have this horrendous creature, and we also have the wardrobe. And yeah, it's a very small and pretty modest room. Well, as far as the castle goes, if you had this room in real life, you're definitely set. The wardrobe is apparently just waddling up to me. It's a little bit creepy. Yeah, I haven't taken a liking to it though. Over here we have a little fruit bowl. I don't know, I just thought that was a little cool detail. There's just a little fruit bowl here with some very low poly fruits. Another painting on the wall there. A mirror with some silk conveniently draped over it so we don't have to try and make a reflection in this game. But yeah, otherwise not a whole lot in this room. Let's move on to the west wing now. Before the west wing we have the big grand west hall. This is a very cool looking room. I do like it a lot. We start off with these imposing suits of armor. Can you imagine if the possessor that's in this world could go into these and these could come alive and attack you? That'd be kind of interesting, but they don't. You can just destroy them and get some drive orbs. And when the bulky vendors are present, you'll need to destroy this. It will all blow up and then the bulky vendors will make themselves known. Oh, here's another cool detail for you here. You can see the impressions made by the suits of armor once you've destroyed them. And one thing I do really like about this room is that it's different visually. It's got a different visual style compared to the rest of the castle. The rest is very much sort of bluish purple tones, but then we have this more brown and red room with some unique things like a checkered floor pattern and green marble on the walls. These suits of armor are standing aside now. When you're first here, they're blocking the path and you have to go around through the dungeon to get over there. And up there on the ceiling is kind of like a compass, I guess, little design there, kind of cool. In the Undercroft, we finally get a look at some books. I mean, books are quite a big part of the movie, but we don't really see too many in this game. But yeah, here's some books, or they're stuffed away down here. Rolls of carpet as well, there's a lot of general junk. In fact, behind these two bits of junk, you can see on one side there's a hole and there's more junk behind it, inside that little alcove. And on the other side we have an actual door, which would lead into that corridor back there. Quite a lot of little assets. They've even reused one of the paintings here for this. And then of course we also have the dungeon, which is just a tiny little room with some hay and chairs. That's where you rescue the servants from earlier. But yeah, nothing really to talk about in here. When you go through the upper exit in the Undercroft, you get to the secret passage. There's a mini game here with Cogsworth and the others, and you have to light the candles. Yeah, great, it's a KH2 mini game, whatever. But aside from that, it's, well, it's very basic. There's not a lot to this. It's nice that there is a shortcut. I mean, it's not really a shortcut because it takes longer, but they have to do it to get around the guards. It's nice that it's there because, yeah, you know, just adds a little bit of something to the world that's otherwise very linear, but it is really the barest thing. It's not exactly much, is it? Would have liked maybe some more passages or something other than just this one minigame, but it's KH2, they fill the time with minigames. I think really the best thing this area gave us was, Roxas, that's a stick. We can now head into the actual west wing. Oh look, another painting. And a little shout out to the chests here as well. I like that they've got a stained glass pattern. It's very cool. On the left here is a lot of statues, and many of them broken because Beast has come through raging here. This one's kind of funny. It looks like it's like squatting, and it's really weird, that dragon. We also have this dramatic one on the floor. We have this kind of sassy looking winged beast here. A broken mirror, because of course he smashed it on his way through. A couple more hanging over, and then a pig head on the top. Yeah, it's a lot of different statues. I've got to appreciate that actually, because instead of just like replicating one or two, they've made all these unique statues and gargoyles, and I think that's quite cool. Oh, I also want to shout out to this light shaft coming through the window, because you can see the dust particles glinting in it. I thought that was a nice attention to detail. On the other side as well, you can see the paintings have either been broken or they've been dislodged in some way, so they're off to the side at an angle. And then Beast's room, of course, as per the story, we take the wreckage and damage up to 11. Everything's just out of place and destroyed here. This table's in half. There's torn sheets and the bed is in ruins. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what's happened here. This statue here looks very distraught at what's happened. One of the coolest references from the film is, of course, the portrait of Beast before he was a beast when he was a prince. And they've got that here in the game as well, and it's quite a cool detail, especially since you might not really notice it. The game doesn't really pay much attention to it. There is a triangle command here. You can examine it and it will say it's hard to tell who's portrayed in this. I mean, we know, but yeah, I guess Sora wouldn't know, would he? Someone must have torn up the room. Yeah, I wonder who it could have been. And then what can we see out the window here? Maybe if we just take a little jump and... Whoa! Wow, I did not realize you could see all that. So I guess that's where his garden is. That's where the grounds are. They've just copied the same thing and pasted it like 5 times. But that looks really huge and grand. I've never noticed that before. That's quite something. I really wish we could go out there, but yeah, limitations and also the fact they didn't want to do too much with the worlds in this game. Just that does look really cool though, I've never noticed that before. Finally, of course, we have the ballroom, the most classic and familiar location from the movie. It has to be in the game, doesn't it? It's very nicely replicated, even the art on the ceiling up there, the chandelier looks good. I don't think I really need to point out too much with this room, it's just very, very cool. And as I said before, I really like what happens to the room when the Shadow Stalker is here, how it turns very evil looking and purple and how he possesses a different part of it. That's a really interesting way to use an arena for a boss. And hey, something we've seen from the randomizer, if a different boss is here, like Armored Xemnas, and he knocks you up, you can end up on the upper section, and you can actually walk on there, so yeah, there is collision on that, at least in the boss version. And looking outside, we can see a big courtyard and a tall hedge, but not a lot else, it's kind of empty out there. Also, another nice attention to detail, you can see reflections of the pillars on the shiny floor. That's quite nice, I like that. But I think that's about it for Beast Castle. Now, what do I think of this world? Well, it's one of my favourites in KH2. I think the visual design is very, very good, spot on. The attention to detail is great. I love all the little unique assets, the statues, the paintings being places from the film. That's all very good. Mechanically, yeah, it's a KH2 world. It's not really any different from any others. It's nice that it's not linear, like it's not just a path. At least you can go in different directions, so there is that. And like I said, there is that one route through the Undercroft that leads back out to the same room, so there's something. There was an attempt, but yeah, it's the same as most KH2 worlds still, it's not that interesting. But the visuals really do elevate this world, I think, to something better than most. I think it being an indoor location really helps that, because you're just able to hide more little details and things in there, compared to an outdoor location where, like Land of Dragons, you just have rocks and things. Whereas here you have actual walls to put stuff on, floors that you can put patterns on, you know, that sort of thing. So yeah, that does help, and we get a little bit of the outside, but I wish there was a bit more to it. Either more to the dungeon, or more to the outside, like some of his actual gardens we could go into from the film. That would have been nice. And I also really do like the way that the statues come to life thanks to the Heartless. It's just a cool little gimmick to put in that really melds with the world quite well. So that's my little tour and thoughts on Beast's Castle. What do you think about this world? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How would you maybe change or improve it? Or do you like it just the way it is? Be my guest to leave a comment, and I'll stop making stupid Beauty and the Beast references, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.